We're recording a session, you just spoiled the best bit.
Given that Ziggy isn't actually a real name, why did you make yet another pseudonym?
Well, Ziggy came about when I was in primary 3. Some girls who were in primary 7, 3 of them, can't remember their names, started calling me Ziggy, and it stuck. I never really liked it, but it's quite difficult to shake a nickname once it's grown roots. Lomond came about when I was with King Creosote, and he took a picture of me in front of the Lomond Hills and said Lomond Campbell. And then I played 2 gigs on a tour that he was doing, and he billed me as Lomond Campbell. So the misery bell chime. Oh, the months go by without a sound.
Black River Promise is your new album. It doesn't sound anything like Found Songs at all.
So basically what happened is I moved to the Highlands about 2.5 years ago, and I moved into an old derelict school, and there was no electricity, there was no water. It was a school, you know. It was as if it was a kind of Chernobyl scenario, like close the doors and get out of here. And when I got there was no electricity, so there was nothing to do for a couple of days. So I just started playing my guitar, just this kind of long form, open tuning, cyclical guitar work, just purely to amuse myself. And I just wanted to see what it sounded like. But the recordings weren't that bad. And I chatted to Pete Harvey at Moonhop, which is the club that Stephen Marshall and I run. And I said to him, I'm working on some stuff just now. I don't know if you want to have a listen to it. Maybe you could do a couple of little chord swells or, you know, something real simple. And he went, yeah, send me it.
He kind of took that and ran with it.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I sent him them, and I didn't really hear from him for a couple of months. I sent him 3 songs that were really just, in my mind, demos. And he came back and he'd written these like really complex, kind of spiraling, gorgeous, lush arrangements. And I was like, right, okay, well maybe we've got something here. And I actually quite like these stark, you know, the lushness of what he'd done in contrast to the starkness of my original demos. The lyrics are kind of about the move to the Highlands, and I was travelling a lot of the time as well, so it's about that kind of when you're caught between longing for home and the restlessness of wanting to get away from home and that kind of thing. So I wanted the record to sound like the Highlands, like an autumnal Highlands. That sounds a bit wanky, but if you're going to be impressionistic, that's what I wanted it to sound like. And Pete Harvey just nailed that.
Yeah, it's every florist in every town.
Yeah.
That's your next session track that we're going to hear. What?
Every florist in every town. It's like an apology. This is quite a nice song. I think most of my songs aren't that nice, but this one's quite nice. So, you know, sometimes, of course, sometimes you write in third person and stuff, so you remove yourself from the perspective of the person that's singing the song. But not with this one. This is a nice. Let's say it might be my only nice song, so let's not knock it too much. By every florist in every town we've ever drifted through or drowned in, and you like the quietness, but I've always had a thing for the noise. So you keep an eye on this, and you fasten me up, and I'm right with you.
Continuing to work with Found, between the Lomond Campbell stuff that you started to do, and then also Triassic Tusk and what you've been doing with the Moonhop with Stephen, you seem to have, and now if you're building a recording studio as well in the school up in the Highlands, you do seem to have become a multifaceted artistic project, sort of off your own bat.
I just think it's that restlessness thing. So I get really bored. I'm bored of this record already because it feels like it's been quite a long time in the making. So I'm already thinking about the next project. So I think Found has always been like that, and I think now the Triassic Tusk thing is quite a natural progression. Well, Tommy was a big part of Found. It was basically a partnership. That's how we ran it between me and Tommy, but it was also this open-ended collective, so we worked with lots of different people. Kev's always been around, Simon Kirby's always been around. It's not one of these things like a band split up, or let's do our last album, let's do our last tour or something. It doesn't seem to make sense with Found because it's a collective, so if something comes along, if we get commissioned to do an art project, then I'll gather the members and we'll go ahead and do it.
Have you read on it? How many telescopes does it take to get a glimpse of the light?
Terra Nova, you were saying that somebody came to you, you were approached, were you, to do a specific project?
Yeah, so it was Grampian Hospital Trust approached us about basically creating an exhibition of artwork based around this guy called William Clark Souter, who's a 24-year-old ophthalmic surgeon. Would that be right? Medical stuff.
There is such a thing as ophthalmic surgeons,
Yeah.
whether or not that's what he was.
Well, let's just go with that. It
tell you.
sounds good. So he was basically the surgeon or the doctor, the medic on the expedition, the Terra Nova ship, which was set out to rescue Captain Scott's icebound, doomed attempt. So he was also a keen photographer in this early days of photography, and he made these beautiful images of the whole experience. So we used them as a basis for creating visual artwork, sort of reactive video work, a sound installation.
I don't want to be a burdensome son. It's not like I went out and murdered someone, but it's true.
Just going back to what you were saying earlier about when you discovered Favourite Girl.
Yeah.
That whole era, I think back to it, and I remember we were playing a lot of gigs, and King Creosote was at a lot of the same gigs that we were playing, or Withered Hand was on a lot of the same bills that we were on. So you just kind of got to know everybody. And then we were always booked for Home Game and Away Game and all these different festivals that they were putting on. And the Lengths originally came out on a collaborative album. I don't know if you've got that one, called Experimental Batch.
Yeah, is that the one with James
46.
Yorkston on it? And yeah.
I went in the lane, 'cause I go there. I go there. I go the lane.
I played banjo in a sort of Celtic band for maybe about 4 or 5 gigs.
Did you?
Yeah.
How recently was that?
It was a while ago. It was a pal of mine's called Nuala Kennedy, who sung on 3 tracks on Factory Craft.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
She's amazing, and she was like, "Oh, come down. I want you to play these gigs. Play the banjo. It'll be fucking mental. It'll be fucking great. It's dead easy." And it's giving it all that. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, fine. So what is it? Just like 1 or 2 chords or whatever." And I went down to the rehearsals. It was fucking hundreds of chords, and there was loads of time changes, and it was really complex. And in the end, when we played the gigs, I remember just like, fuck it, I can't remember any of the shit we've just done. So I was just literally slapping the banjo for the whole gig. Are we good, Matthew?
Yeah. Black River, I won't bother.